I just wanted to make another video talking about something I have problem with. There are a lot of things that, I could talk about that bother me in film and TV. There's a lot of stuff like that. In today's video, I want to talk about something I care about enough. This isn't something I'm jumping out to say it's the best program ever. It's not super incredible, but I respect it. I like it enough to an extent. I would not even put it in my top 20 TV shows, but it's The Walking Dead. I like The Walking Dead. I respect it. I just said that. But there are so many flaws and issues I have with the whole narrative and the whole story and some of the stuff that I just wanted to talk quickly about it, see where it goes, kind of things like that. And to rate again, I want to say, if you like The Walking Dead and you don't agree with what I say, I respect your decision. I understand. I get it. This is just how I feel. I want to put my opinion out there. If you agree, if you don't agree, that's okay. So where do I stand on The Walking Dead as a whole? I've seen let's put it this way. The only season I've watched fully is the first 3 seasons and the most recent one with Negan. And this one's not even over. I think at some point you have to understand this show becomes too repetitive and it's going to become too generic to itself. It started a craze of zombie films, of zombie movies, of zombie everything, and it's the only thing that's still relevant in the zombie genre. It started it and it ended it too, because then everything needed to be The Walking Dead and nothing became anything else. Everything became just like The Walking Dead. It didn't have any other substance or anything. It's just, in the zombie format, it's gone. Nobody cares about the zombie format anymore. It's just so repetitive. It's so generic. You can't tell any good stories anymore in the zombie program. And that's one of my biggest problems with this show is how long can you go telling the story of a zombie apocalypse. This is our 7th season. The one that's airing right now is the 7th season of this show. And it's been renewed for another one. 8 seasons. How can you do 8 damn years of walking around, running away from zombies, fighting new people that don't go anywhere? There's just so much generic storytelling in that. And I don't want to hate on this show as much as I do because I respect it. And I understand that why it's the highest rated show on AMC, why it gives us things like Into the Badlands and Preacher and all these things. I love those shows more than I like The Walking Dead because they're new and original, and everything I see here on The Walking Dead I've seen before in film, I've seen before in a bunch of other stuff. I want something new to happen here in The Walking Dead, or I need it to end. And there's a difference between a show ending because it told its story and a show dragging on and on. Something like Supernatural going on to its 13th season next year, that's stupid. A show like Supernatural should not have to tell 13 seasons of the same garbage. I like Supernatural for the first 4 seasons. I don't need to watch 8 more seasons of that show. That's the same with The Walking Dead. You can tell the story with Negan. You could tell the one about the governor. We don't need to see any other stories because they just keep getting more and more of the same. And I'm not hating on this new season. I think it's a really good season because they stopped focusing so much on the walkers and the zombies and they're focusing more on the characters. And if they did that earlier, I'd be more interested in the show. I probably would have even continued to watch it. And I know people say that the first couple of seasons, they're not the best. You got to get later on. But there's only so far they can go. This show does not need another season. It doesn't need another one after that. I don't know if it will get a 9th one, but if we have a full decade of The Walking Dead, of just zombies just going around doing nothing, it just becomes too much of the same thing, and you don't need to see that much. The show needs to end. It needs to end on a high note. It needs to end before we get sick of it. And some people are already sick of it. So if it can end before everybody gets sick of it, then that's how you end on a high note. So another thing that I take issue with is this whole constant thing that the show doesn't care about its fans. And sure, that's been said before about a bunch of other shows. It's been said, about a few things, but Walking Dead does it in such a way where it's not about the fans, it's not about the audience, it's about the damn ratings. And we've seen this before. Again, I haven't seen every episode. I'm going to say right there, maybe I shouldn't be talking about this because I haven't seen every episode. I don't know every storyline, everything that's happened. But what I know what does happen is it leaves its viewers wanting more. And it just leaves it on a cliffhanger that doesn't get resolved well. And a big example of this is a couple seasons back, I think it's 5 or 6, one of those seasons, Glenn falls off the dumpster, we think he's dead. How come you don't tell us what happens next to Glenn right away? You leave us hanging on that cliffhanger for a couple of episodes because you want people to watch these other episodes that otherwise would be boring, and you just want everyone to hold on to that thing with Glenn. That's not how you tell a good story. That's not trusting in your audience to care and to focus. You just want them to keep watching your episodes so you find out about this one thing. And even the season finale of season 6 of Negan bashing in the head of the one person, just do that right there. We didn't need to wait a whole year to see that. It would have been more impactful. It would have had more motivation instead of making people want to come back to see what happens next year. If you just ended that episode, the season finale, with seeing Abraham get his head beaten in, and then we see Glenn die, it would have been so much more impactful. And then we start the next season with your audience built in, wanting to see what happens next, not waiting to see what's happening at the time. You got to trust in your audience to come back. And you look at these other big shows, I think one that really takes away is Game of Thrones. They trust in their audience. They know that their audience is going to come back because they're invested in the characters and not the bullshit that they put in at the end to make you want to come back. And some of the shows on the CW are guilty of this too. Things like The Flash and Arrow and Riverdale and all those stuff. They put something at the end of the episode so you'll come back next week. But Walking Dead does it in such a way where it's just trying to drag you out, to just make you drag on to watch the show to get a conclusion you don't care about. And that's a big problem I have with this show too, is it just drags on and on. There's so many filler episodes, so many things that we don't need to see, and it just becomes so hard and repetitive to watch that you're just like, I don't care. Why am I still watching this? Why did I invest so many years of my life into the show when I stopped caring? And I just want to see, I don't know why. You can't, I watched this with my mother. Yeah, I know that might be weird, but I watched this show with my mom. And sometimes we both look at each other and like, why are we still watching this? Because we invested so much time into the series, we want to see it conclude and not be dragged out where the creators think, oh, we need to put something at the end of each episode, the end of each season, so they'll come back for the next one. You have your audience. You get so many millions of people watching each week. Trust that they will come back for your story and don't have to linger on that. And so I guess some of the other problems I have, these aren't big problems. Carl and any teen actor. I know it's a hard thing when you have a teen actor. Sometimes they do good. You get people like in The Breakfast Club or The Edge of 17 where you can feel those are actual teens. You can feel that they're real. That's how a teen would act. That's how a teen would be. And then you get people like Carl and Enid, who teen actors are so hard to do. And maybe when he was younger, Carl was good. But Chandler Riggs, I don't like the guy. He can't act well. And we're stuck with him like this. I get that. It's hard to recast when you're this far in. But the guy, he's just, I don't believe anything he says. And it's just kind of hard to follow through on that, you know? When you have this guy like Carl, who's an important character, but the guy playing him, I just don't buy what he's doing. He just feels like an actor. He doesn't feel like he's playing a character. And that's a small gripe. I mean, I'm sure some people feel differently. That's just, how I feel. Another thing is, I think The Walking Dead has lost some of its own momentum. Because there was a time, nobody was safe. Anybody could die. Right? Game of Thrones does it really good. You see people die all the time. Jon Snow I'm going to exclude because there's obviously a bigger story with Jon Snow. But anybody could die. Anybody has died at any time. We've seen like the whole fucking King's Landing blow up. Walking Dead has come to this point where it's too scared to take these big risks anymore. And this is the thing again, you have to trust your audience to choose the right decisions. Game of Thrones, killing a Hodor was a bold move. He's a really respected and loved character. That was a bold move. I don't want to keep comparing Game of Thrones and Walking Dead because they're two very different things. But they don't want to kill any of their main characters now because the audience grows attached to them. You got to take these risks and take these big chances. That's why we only see characters we don't care about getting killed now. And I know everyone's going to write in the comments, what about Glenn and Abraham? Well, That's part of the story they told in the comics. I honestly think Daryl should die. But I know Daryl will not be killed because of his popularity. Have the balls to kill Daryl. Have the balls to kill Rick. Have the balls to kill these main characters. And just do something good with the other side characters we have. Build them up even more. Don't put them in the sidelines. Kill off the characters we followed for so long. And do something new with them. Just look at what Logan did. Logan ended, and spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Logan. I'm going to spoil it right now. They kill Logan at the end. They kill Logan at the end. But the story can still continue with Laura and all that. You can kill off your main characters, and you still have all these other characters in there. Because there's some really good side characters I want to see have these bigger moments and these bigger opportunities. People like Rosita, like Eugene, they can become these front characters in the front of the whole thing. And you can do these kind of ballsy things, and your viewers will still care about you. So I guess to sum up what I'm trying to say, Walking Dead doesn't care about telling a good story, having investing characters, or doing anything like that. They only like the money and the views and audience it gets from leaving cliffhangers, having their main characters be in no peril at all, and doing nothing original or new. I don't like Daryl as a character. I personally don't find Norman Reedus to be an attractive guy, but if you do, that's cool. There's just, take these bigger chances, do something ballsy and new, and reinvent yourself as a genre, because you're the last show still doing this genre that actually people care about. And okay, just to point it out there, I'm straight. Norman Reedus, he's not attractive. Andrew Lincoln, yeah, he's alright. You can do these big things. You can do something good, but you're not going to take those chances because you're scared people won't like them. Take the chance, do something new, be creative. And sure, you've done some things recently in episodes that have been really good. And I think you're starting to fix your own problem. But until you take these big chances, I'm going to have issues with you. And I really hope you do get better. So that's going to do it for me talking about my problem with The Walking Dead. You know, maybe you don't agree. Again, that's completely fine. Maybe you do find Norman Reedus attractive. Maybe you don't find Andrew Lincoln attractive. So, yeah, have fun. And thanks for listening this far in. Good luck.